Let me apologize for starting this program behind schedule. Hello and welcome to the first edition of Journalist Hangout. That's actually the Wednesday edition. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Today on the Hangout, President Buhari begs world leaders to help Nigeria recover looted funds. Aviation workers clash over concessioning of Lagos Abuja airports. And later in the program, employers fault federal government, say economy is still in recession. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Benga Onitilo, and Dari Odufowokon. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Glad to have you join us once again. One of President Muhammadu Buhari's biggest aspirations is to stamp corruption out of Nigeria. In the last 2 years, his administration has been fighting a fierce battle against some corrupt individuals and institutions. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has been quite busy. On several occasions, it has reared, but its rearing is nothing compared to that of a lion. It has bungled high-profile cases for lack of due diligence and has narrowly won some. As Nigerians continues its house cleaning, President Muhammadu Buhari took his campaign to the United Nations General Assembly. He begs world leaders to cooperate with his administration to recover looted funds stashed outside the country. Last month, he signed an extradition treaty with the United Arab Emirates and further narrowed the breathing of space for looters. Will international cooperation turn the tide? Let me start from you, Benga. We have, I think Dubai now, the last agreement he signed was signed for United Arab Emirates. So we have a lot of Nigerians investing in Dubai and everything too, and a lot of our politically exposed people, that's their next destination. Since they know they can't go to America, they can't go to London again. Now at the United Nations General Assembly, part of the responsibility of what the charge Mr. President is telling the world, please, we need our money back.
Well, for me, I feel the opportunity for addressing the United Nations General Assembly, it's a platform where you showcase really your country, the strength and common grounds on how other nations can collaborate with you because you are not an island. And with one time too many, we have had the president speaking on different forums all over the world about this same issue that they should collaborate in repatriating our funds. And as for me, I think it's a crack record. I think the kind of things we should be doing now, there's a treaty that was signed with Dubai, United Arab Emirates, like you said. Most of these things work based on diplomatic relations, not on the platform of the UN, where you see such kind of things in the open. And most of the funds that have even stashed, some of them even have to go through some level of legal proceedings for you to be able to get have access to those funds, because the source of the fundings have to be proven, a whole lot of legal issues have to go on. So those kind of things are not the things you do. That's why our foreign diplomatic people, our foreign affairs people, our diplomatic people, I think, are the ones that should be engaging nations, finding covert ways of engaging nations on how to repatriate some of these funds. Look, for example, I remember Buluji Kushamo, when he was still serving his time in the United Kingdom. You know, the United States of America actually said they should repatriate him to United States of America. At that time, it was because of some fundamental issue for respect of rule of law, for example.
He actually said it's his brother.
No. I'm trying to drive home a point. The reason at that time why he was not extradited, because the United Kingdom, the government of the United Kingdom felt the United States was not going to the right way, the right approach, following the real rule of law when it comes to treaties, extradition treaties and all that. The same thing as well. There are some countries in the world when you're talking about extraditing people that, so when they see that, even you that are calling for some of these things. No respect for rule of law. Some of these things, they won't be able to actually give you the demands you are asking for. So I'm thinking the best way to go about this thing is to go through the diplomatic channels, foreign affairs offices, go through some level of covert operations, look out for I-stand lawyers within that particular system that can help look at the loopholes and the laws in that system to help us get some of these things back home.
Just for the record again, that's individual. According to the judgment we still have from the courts, is that that person is not distinguished Senator Buruji Kashamo until proven otherwise. Now, moving further, if we are going to do this and we look at the way the amount of money, because anytime they're talking about our foreign loots, I remember the number of years that it took them to bring, to get the so-called looted funds of Sani Abacha. And till tomorrow, we still have, you know, funds coming in. And so shows the cumbersome process and everything. Do you think Mr. President can make headway with this kind of campaign? Dario.
Oh, well, Mr. President, in my opinion, is trying to make use of all possible avenues to aid his anti-corruption drive. However, in as much as I am not against his seeking global or international support to fight corruption and to get funds stashed and brought back, I think there are procedures, there are things for us to do back home that are yet to be, taken care of. Going to United Nations to broadcast the need for countries to help bring back your looted fund, it's not enough. It's not tidy enough, because this is not about one country. We have a number of countries where our monies are, and if we are talking in such general manner, countries, foreign countries, the statement looks to me too general. We can approach each country based on their own, rules, based on their own the approach they require of us to get this one. For example, I am very much aware that it's this same foreign organizations, this international society that is asking our own anti-corruption agency, that's the EFCC, to straighten out its financial intelligence unit in tandem with global standard. This is still an issue. We are yet to comply, and we are being suspended today, readmitted tomorrow. We need such organizations, such international organizations, as the ones asking us to do this, in our effort, in our drive to get back this money. If we are not in the good books of this organization for not doing things the proper way, what will it cost us to look at their demand? Okay, what are we supposed to do with the FIU? We have it as a unit already in EFCC. You want us to separate it? You want us to beef it up? If we sit down, rather than having EFCC insisting that we will do it our own way. If you want to do it our own way, it simply means we want to get our own, our money back our own way, and it may not work. If we are going to need the support of the international bodies, other countries, to get these monies back home, then we need to look inward. Is EFCC approaching the fight against corruption the proper way? Are we not infringing on the rights of people? For example, EFCC keeps taking people to court, detaining them for long periods, eventually arraigning them before courts, only to lose cases for lack of diligent prosecution. To the international body, this is infringement on human rights. And these are issues that, would affect our ability to get these things done the way Mr. President wants to do it now.
All right, Babajide, well, if Mr. President, if this is the second or third time you will be saying this in international fora like this, that means the President has a kind of fair idea of how much might have left this country, maybe in the last 15 years, 14 years, how much of our money these politically exposed people might have, looted funds out of the system, and he knows the benefits if at this time around that the country is broke and that we need this money. Is there any indication that he can get it within the period of his administration?
Yeah, that is the cross of his message to the world leaders at the United Nations General Assembly. He wants countries to relax their processes so that we can retrieve our money in far more difficult circumstances, because it's been really tough. Look, we have an idea that someone has stolen about $300 million. We know where it is, but the process is extremely cumbersome
To get it.
now, in my view, and what a lot of their own countrymen and women are saying is, look, you created the environment for these people to be able to stash
This kind of
stolen
amounts.
funds in our country.
System.
So why don't you make it extremely difficult? You go to a country like the UK, and the UK citizens are saying, look, there are some parts of our country where you see some Africans who have stolen so much money. This is where they live. You know in your heart of hearts that these buildings that they bought here are products of stolen funds. These people have held their own countries down. They've refused to allow their own countries to grow, to develop, because of the mindless looting that they have perpetrated. Why have we made it easy for people to be able to steal so much money from this
To hide it now.
from Africa and some other continents of the world, and then bring to our country? Now, if you've not been able to create a foolproof system that ensures that these mindless looters cannot take from their country and keep in your country, then you need to relax your own measures to ensure that when such looters are identified, the process of retrieving what has been taken away from us becomes less cumbersome. We are even talking, if we are just simply talking about money stolen from us, even artifacts stolen from our continent,
From Benin.
is a massive effort to get them to even return some of these things. And they know that those things do not belong to them, that they were stolen from here. But you have to struggle and struggle. There are some, if we look at what happened with Abacha loot, I've seen some Nigerians, ignorant Nigerians who are not informed, even comparing the Ezani with Abacha. It is, in fact, the difference is like night and day. Because Abacha stole too much from this country that I don't think that it is possible until God calls us that we'll ever find somebody who will steal with that kind of that level of impunity. Because one, that was a military regime. You could not challenge him. He was stealing as much. I see
during the CBN governor, he could print currency, he could do anything.
No, and if you challenge him, you die. Look, Nigerians, Ayo Arowolo was my boss at the news. He was heading the business desk. He came to Kano. Abacha was extremely greedy that he had up to 200 houses in Kano alone. Big buildings, Gidan Goldie, all the former USC building. He already bought them. And we were talking to people that he bought houses from. He was extremely crazy about acquiring property. Now, in the case of Abacha, because it was difficult and we had this long battle, Obasanjo thought deeply that how do we recover this money? And we had to say, okay, let's go. You can take, let the family take about $2 billion. Then let's you know, so it is that it's frustrating. Yes, you know it's your money.
You can't touch it.
But you see the thing, the case will go on and on and on, and international jurisprudence is extremely costly. It's extremely costly. Court cases abroad, you will spend and spend and spend until you get frustrated. So at that point, Obasanjo is normally stubborn in most matters. But when he got to that point, he knew that this was a battle that he may not win. So he had to say, okay, take 2 billion.
Give us the remaining.
Give us let's have the remainder. So it's difficult. We know that African leaders have stolen so much, but the West holds us that obligation to ensure that it's extremely difficult for them to continue to steal from us the way they are doing, and to ensure that when we identify those looters, we are able to, because we need this money to bring development, to cause development to happen in our countries.
As Jide was talking now, the flip side of it that came to me was that we too, we need to encourage a system that it will not be easy for somebody to take out $2 million, $100 million from this kind of system. What kind of system are we running?
No, we, like they have all said, we've not been able to improve the system, even till date. You just had the news about non-remittance of oil receipts or proceeds by NNPC. You heard about the story.
It's still happening.
You see the story about JAMB?
90 still talk. 90.
Let's start from small jump.
Even now, it is still
small
happening. JAMB is not so much.
The small
when
money.
you move to the extractive
industry, that is
so much money. How much is the JAMB money that we are talking about?
No, it's just examples.
That's what I'm looking at the bigger this thing.
No, what we're saying today
is
no, you don't get it. I'm not saying let us.
no, he's looking at the quantum of the extractive.
You know what I'm talking
extractive
about.
industry, the quantum is more.
I'm even looking at the fact that it's still happening.
It's still happening.
It's still happening. Because look at the 90 report. The 90 report includes what has happened in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
so these things are still happening.
It's even now.
Yes, up till now, oil receipts still do not get.
And they tell you they are using the money for their operations. They tell you, and nobody challenges.
And it's a complex sector.
It's a very complex sector, really. So
the guidelines are just not there.
No, it's not about. It's not basically about the guidelines. It's just that we've been chasing the symptoms. We've not been addressing the underlying issue. For example, our procurement processes. Is it fully automated? Is it transparent? So several things.
People can easily get around the Procurement Act. Procurement Act is, how many people have been jailed for breaching the Procurement Act?
Most of our processes are still manual, paper to paper, from desk to desk. We are saying that we have put everything in TSA, and every of these things still keeps going on. So, you know, good luck said then that we will use technology. Fine, globally. Procurement processes all over the world are done online, transparent. People can track and see what is going on.
And you hardly can doctor.
So you can hardly doctor, and there are audit trails. Have we been able to fully automate processes within the civil service?
The civil servants will not even let it happen.
So the height of corruption, I've always said, if we are going to deal with corruption, it's going to happen by restructuring the civil service and professionalizing it and getting a whole lot of them out of the system. You can't be having like less than 10% of the population holding the whole country to ransom. And these are the same people that teach all the ministers, the commissioners, the governors how to steal. They are the ones that even collaborate with the private sector.
They know how you can steal and evade detection.
Yes.
So they will teach you.
So if we are not ready to fully professionalize the civil service, restructure it, and allow technology to drive their processes, thereby making it transparent.
Not the number of people you have in each offices.
No. One person can do the work. You see a PAMSEC office. I was in Abuja one time. You see a PAMSEC office that has about 4 or 5 secretaries. You have somebody that will carry the bag. You have somebody that will buy food. You have somebody that will watch the plates.
And we are reluctant to let some of these people go.
And we're reluctant to let them go. What are the KPIs, for example, that determine the works that these people do? So it's just that we are chasing the effects, but we're not dealing with the underlying problems. And till you disincentivize the ability to commit crime, till you make it unpalatable for people to commit crime, and also look at things like let people earn what is due to them. Because, for example, you see people have not earned salaries for months and they still keep going to work. Where did they get the money to take care of themselves.
I'm sure you know the case of the PAMSEC, that
A salary for months.
the PAMSEC that they retrieved 660 million and another $137,000 from him, and he's still insisting that that money belongs to him.
Hey.
He's still fighting them.
And this is you can easily calculate all his earning in his life.
All the money in his life or his pension cannot be out of that money.
And then he comes out openly. He comes out openly to say
confidently,
I own this money. And we are in court.
Yakubu told us that.
Yakubu told us that
Yakubu said the same thing.
And such cases are usually lost due to lack of diligence.
Because you won't trace it. To trace it is difficult.
Can you even
Yakubu dollars now, and then
records,
they will need to
the
trace
These
it.
things, some of these things are deliberately bungled.
Those, exactly, that's what
You
I'm
won't
going.
know.
because there are several interests involved.
This is what
Lot of
this
interest.
is what I'm saying here now. You see, I want to link it to Buhari's appeal. We are back home. We either lose cases because we are careless with them, or, like it is appearing and it is being proven, we bungle cases deliberately.
It's deliberate.
Because of interests. Back home, monies we can trace within our own system. We show the world that sometimes you don't want to get them back. Now, in another breath, we turn to the international society and say, please, give us the.
Did anybody see that interview that Jay Rawlings granted?
The Rawlings interview.
Yes, where he was accusing the West.
Yes.
That all this looting that African leaders,
is aiding and abetting.
that you people aid
And abet.
this
And
looting.
why are they-
It takes two to tango.
Even the expatriates, when they come here, they teach our people
how to
loot.
take this money out.
How to launder it.
But first, we must take responsibility for allowing it to happen.
Why are they aiding?
Okay.
Why are they aiding and abetting?
We must take
Because
responsibility
they
for it
also,
first.
They also need the
Oh,
money.
we have to move on. Coming up on Journalist Hangout,
They also need the money.
aviation workers clash over concessioning of Lagos and Abuja airports. We'll be right back after this time out. Join us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Journalist Hangout, and we're reaching you from Television Continental here in Lagos, Nigeria. On Tuesday, the Nigerian aviation sector was hit by most bizarre event in its modern history. Workers in the sector clashed over their confusion regarding how Nigeria's busiest airport should be managed. A coalition of workers protested against the concessioning of Lagos and Abuja airports, and another coalition gathered in the support of the initiative. A scuffle soon erupted and the unions threw jabs. What is really going on here? The first question I asked Binga, the first question I asked you when we entered that, why will any sane person not want to concession that airport in Lagos?
If I were the president today, if there is a way of writing an executive order to ensure we get all these people off all these airports and get those airports functional, just a few minutes away from the Lagos International Airport, you have MM2.
Yes.
Fully run by under concession by a private house.
Now profitable.
And no, it's not just about the profitability.
It's
the functionality.
Sanity. When you go
I've
to
never
MM2.
seen any airport anywhere in the world where people will be stopping you from accessing. An airport is a tourist attraction center.
Yes.
It's the first point of call where people have interface with your country and begin to get an impression of what kind of a country that you have. Get to the international airport in Lagos, it looks more like a motor park, a garage. Everybody is there to extort you.
It's out.
Have you ever bought tickets? You buy tickets, local tickets, maybe about 45,000. Have you ever taken time to check the taxes on it? What goes to the airline most of the time, maybe about 5,000 or 6,000. The bulk of every other part, they are taxes due to government. You have multiple taxation. And all these people that are making noise.
It's only in Nigeria that VAT.
You charge VAT?
You still charge VAT.
No, you charge VAT. You still charge NG tax. Aside from charging NG tax of 5%, you still charge VAT. And there are also other multiple taxes that you charge. And in saner countries, those funds are supposed to use to provide infrastructure, provide support so that the operation of the airlines will be seamless at the airports. An airline had an occurrence a while back, wanted to land in Enugu around about 6:30. They shut down the power. They said, no, they don't have diesel in the generator. And this is an airline that pays its dues and rents at the airport. They had to instruct a station manager to go give them about 400,000 at the airport in Enugu for them to switch on power for the aircraft to land. And these are the same, look, it's not a joke. These same people protesting. I was on a project where they wanted to automate all the revenue lines of all the aviation agencies.
I remember
and
that.
they were all resisting it that no, we will not allow automation. Because what that automation was supposed to do is for you to see the revenue lines every second as they were going in real time. You know how much that is generated. And these same guys were the ones resisting it. They said they don't want it to happen. They were even resisting joining TSA.
Is it a case of they don't want job loss? As in, what are they afraid of?
Job loss.
Yeah, you see, I will always support concession, not just of Lagos and Abuja. I'd rather have all our airports. I mean,
no, just for starters.
Why we are starting? We are starting
about the
with
busiest now.
I am also concerned about what will happen to the smaller ones.
Okay.
One, two, the workers. We have an experience on our hand. NEPA going on to become Ikeja, DC, this, that. You see, I want to support concession. However, the handling.
They were paid though.
I know. I'm coming to that.
They were paid big money. Oh, this
They were paid.
Well paid across board. They absorbed most of them. I was part of that process.
They did not absorb most of them.
Okay.
Please. They did not absorb most of them. And they were paid.
Today,
those who got that money will tell you they were coerced, they were cajoled, and they actually regret, taking it at the time they did. Please let me make this point. I only mentioned PSCN so that we don't lose sight of the people in pursuit of other things. I would want to say, while it is good to moot the idea of concession, and if I go ahead and do this concession, how are we handling the human aspect of it? If the workers, if the unions are saying they read it on social media, I want to say this. If they are lying or they are, making claims that are exaggerated, well, maybe that's not good. But if what they say
they've not gone ahead with the concession.
They approved
Vice President,
concession.
listen, Vice President, that concession has been approved.
Consultation will still be
Please,
with the workers.
Read.
It's part of the roadmap.
No. Let's get the information right. The Vice President said concession has been approved.
Approved, yeah.
That's simple English. So if you have approved the selling or the letting out of my house, which I also rented from you at a point in time without discussing with me, you are not being fair. Yeah. If you let out my apartment, which I rented from you, without letting me know, you are not being fair. Be that as it may, what you have seen happening with the fisticuff is the outcome of the fact that we play politics with everything in this country. How did Association of Nigerian Aviation Professionals came about to be? You see, I've been following the labor union in the aviation sector for a while. It is always very dramatic. Once government or management or some stakeholders are pursuing something and the registered unions kick, within a week or two, you will see another body.
Right.
Imagine.
Well, okay. Okay,
see,
Jide, no. Wait. Let's take it down. Let's take it down. Jide, I'm looking at it from the point of view of Nigeria as a country. There was a time I had to be traveling, and around 11 o'clock, everybody were removing our singlets in the international airport, and we were traveling out. Departure lunch.
Yes.
We were waiting to board the aircraft, and I was removing my t-shirt, and we were fanning. The conveyor belt and everything. But when you look at the effectiveness, right beside the international airports, there's a new terminal that the Chinese partnership with the federal government that they're building. Government does not have, has shown over time that they don't have business in running business, and they are not successful business people. So what is the best way to go about this?
You see, if I were President Buhari, I would cancel this process. because the current effort to concession those airports is riddled with fraud. And we cancel it as a lover of our country. As a patriot, I swear to God, if I were President Buhari, I would cancel it.
Why?
Why? The sort of thing that happened in the power sector could happen again. Before you can talk about concessioning, the concessionaire, you must be sure that they have financial wherewithal and technical wherewithal. The people that we handed the power sector to lack both. Today, we are giving them money. Oh, take some money to go and buy meters. We gave them over 100 billion the other day. Where in the world is that done? If the concession had followed the proper process, that would never have happened. Because look, you will go through, you will be certain of their financial and technical competence before even getting involved, before letting them get involved. In this case, Hadi Sirika cannot tell us that this thing was advertised. The process anywhere in the world is that before concessioning can take place, international journals, newspapers will publish the fact that you want to concession the infrastructure. They will publish it. Expression of interest will take place. Please show me where you read it. Where you read it that we did that. Nowhere. Nowhere. What the minister wants to do is, he's been traveling a lot, he wants to go and bring, he's been talking to people on his own. There was no stakeholder engagement, which is also a sine qua non before this can take place. He's been traveling on his own with the desire of hand-picking the concessionaire. There is nowhere that is done. You have to make the process transparent. I'm not against concessioning.
Okay, I wanted to get that straight.
No, because when I'm talking about processes,
it's the process
it doesn't mean that I
faulting.
hate, yes. I am worried about the way we do things in our land. And that's why I'm saying, cancel this process, let it be done in the right way.
But really,
advertise it, let people know that, okay, this thing is going to take place, and then those who are interested. Can you imagine if we advertised that we were going to privatize the power sector? Do you think people like General Electric would not come? You sold your power assets to bankers. They do not have the technical competence. They do not. They don't have the know-how.
Ex-generals.
Today you are giving them money. Today you are giving them money. Are you supposed to give them money?
Private sector
So
business.
I'm worried about the way we continue to do things. Before, apart from even the advertisement, there is something called the business case study. Who has done the business case study for the airports? Because it's one of the processes that you must go through before concessioning can take place. Who has done it? They should show us proof that the business, in fact, that business case study can take 1.5 years in some cases.
We can do it. We can
This
do it
whole
in
talk
two
about
weeks
concessioning,
in
we
Nigeria.
know when they started talking
And now
about
it's
it.
over.
And now they are telling us it's approved because a minister has gone abroad to go and
talk to
locate
his
some
friends.
people that is going to give it to. We can never make progress if we control like this. We can't. Nobody is against concessioning. In any case, we know how they frustrated Babalakin because the entire airport, including the GAT, was supposed to be part of the
and look at the success he has made.
Look at the hotel.
He took.
The hotel that is
the
building
hotel
is very close.
The
It
car
was
park
caught by court
stagnated.
cases.
You see, another thing we will see happening if
Larry,
we're not careful.
wait for your turn. Benga, you wanted to point something.
well, for me, what they've done so far is they've said approval.
Yes.
The process have not started. So
Which process?
No. The process of whether tenders, whether bids. No. Hold on.
Oh, this is something that we are aware of.
What they've done so far from the Federal Executive Council meeting, what they've issued is it has been approved for it to happen.
Okay.
The other side we should be looking at is this. Before things like concessioning goes on, there must be a legislation to back it up. Have we done that bit. And that is why somebody like Babalaki is still having the issues he's having. When you want to do things like concessioning, it must be institutionalized. If you don't go through a legislative process to back up what you are planning to do, that's when you will have the kind of issues that somebody like Babalaki has. And if we're saying we should bring international people, I would say no international person will come when you have not, when it's not backed up by legislation. The legislation is what shows your seriousness. It's what shows that you are transparent, because it goes through a particular process that gives legitimacy to what you are doing. It's not just an issue of issue an executive order that we met. It has been done. What do you call it? The South Africa Airport Authority, when the government hands off and allow private equity professionals to run the airport. South Africa today has 3 best airports in Africa. All our 9 airports, about top 15 airports in the whole of Africa, competing with the best in the world. The first process is the issue of legislation, which guarantees that there's transparency.
Have we done that?
There is corporate governance. That's what I'm telling you now.
Because I'm going to ask, I'm going to refer to concessioning processes that we have gone through in our country and ask whether those ones had legal process.
No, that's what I'm saying.
And some of them, we are even still on some of them now. So the thing is, when you say that we are not ready, that, oh, it's just, they just approve that those processes will come, God will spare our lives. I will call you, I will remind you that this is what you said. Because I know the level to which this has gone. And I know why some people, even genuine, decent Nigerians in the aviation sector who want to see concession, I know why they are worried. Because from Njeze to FF, all of them, when you bring an aviation minister, they come, they personalize the whole thing. This one wants to bring in his own relations as directors and all that. Do you know that right as we speak, many people in the northwest of Nigeria are hungry? Because we have a minister who decided out of six director positions
in fact
that emerged after the restructuring, three of them have come from Katsina State alone. And you want, is that same person that you want to put this whole process in his hands and you expect transparency? You think Nigerians are fools? Katsina State alone, 3 directorship positions out of 6 in our country.
Is it in fun? Or Ministry of Aviation?
I said the restructuring of the. We have NEMET, we have NAMA, we have Accident Investigation Bureau and the rest.
You see, while Benga was speaking, I would say what he did was to tell us how it should be done. But what we usually have in Nigeria, what we are going to have again, is how it should be done versus how we do it. Let me simplify it. What will happen, what usually happen, and what will happen again is how it should be done versus how we do it.
But we don't expect this from a government like...
It is an institutional thing.
Not even somebody like Professor Oshibajo that actually announced the concession.
You don't hear what some of those people carrying placards, you don't hear what they were saying. They said, Oshibajo is misled. You know? Oshibajo is misled. Sirika, why mortgage fund for your personal ambition? There is a brewing battle even in the aviation sector. Remember, one director,
yes.
Salamoto. Is not a personal assistant or something.
The matter is known to everybody. The matter is known to everybody.
She used to be human resources director.
Yes, and now she was
I don't know whether she's a personal.
She's with the minister.
What we are saying is, look, the woman was removed. And the woman did not like the fact that she had been removed. She knew it was coming. She said, okay, that she was going on vacation. The head of service was aware of some of those changes in the aviation sector that did not follow procedure. And then a committee was set up. Go and address all of these issues. And we have the aviation minister refusing, just letting the report gather dust. We are supposed to have one transportation ministry. But Sirika and Amechi are not on talking terms as we speak. Because the minister chooses to run the aviation sector as a separate ministry. So they always, I'm sure the vice president is watching me. He has resolved disputes repeatedly between these two men.
So, but Amechi is meant to be over.
He's supposed to be the senior, yes. But Sinika refuses to subordinate himself to the
minister.
Every effort to bring these two people together to become chummy once again has been frustrated, because if that is allowed to happen, then Sinika will now have to come under this one, because it's one ministry. And he will not have the freedom. Because he's refusing to do that. So yes, nobody will be able to say, okay, make this thing, make the bidding competitive, make the bidding transparent. He will not want people to come and tell him that.
I think this will.
Yes, you take files to the president to sign.
I think this will need the intervention of Mr. President himself.
That's why I said the president should by himself nullify this process, because I know he has traveled a lot in the last few months. He was just not traveling for nothing, because he's shopping for concessionaire. You think that the bidding will now be after
you know what I would say?
Will be transparent.
There was an autonomy, 2006 autonomy that was granted in civil aviation.
Oh yes,
So when we say the president should not even be involved in this matter.
Oh, there is autonomy, but they continue to sack.
So that's what I'm saying. The autonomy. Look,
is it working?
He said something earlier. The autonomy of the NCAA. The only person that fought them to stand still to an extent was Dr. Demore. The NCAA should be the one sitting over this matter. Ministry of Aviation should even be a department under the Ministry of Transportation. It should not preside. I'm just trying to tell you the way it's done in normal climes. It should not be overseeing the Ministry of Aviation. It should not be overseeing the Ministry of Aviation. It should not be overseeing the NCAA. The NCAA, the general of NCAA, go and check. You will never find him in Lagos. He's always in Abuja with Serika. And you are wondering, what exactly are you doing there?
Keep his job.
So the issue is this. There is a lot of dysfunctionality. If we don't allow the act that set up the NCAA that gave them autonomy to run, we cannot have most of these matters.
If you have the ICAO certification,
we almost lost category 3.
But you have a situation in which that the autonomy of the NCAA is one of the conditions for that certification to happen.
It's not autonomous.
But we have a situation in which, when a minister comes for that sector, the first thing he does is to go and remove people and appoint directors. His relations, his friends, that's what they've been doing. The woman ill-reputed for the fraud, the BMW car fraud.
Is it working?
That was what the woman did. She came and removed people, changed directors in the aviation sector that we all know is a safety critical sector. This shouldn't be happening. But in our country, politicians have taken over. They do what they like.
Politicians should not be involved in aviation.
Thereby putting your life
at risk
and my life at risk.
And so much fraud.
You just remove people.
No, safety issue.
The fraud, the risk. These are technicalities. I am somehow more interested in what happens to the people. You want a concession, fine.
No, you say normal thing that concession will lead to job loss. It will lead to job loss.
They must be compensated.
We must prepare them for the job loss.
And that's where you need to engage them.
Good.
That's where you need to engage them. No stakeholder engagement has happened as we speak.
We got approval for
no,
it.
They had one. They had one stakeholder. Hold on. They had one.
Find them complaining.
People came up with all sorts of things. But the second one, the minister just said, this is what we have decided.
Which is not acceptable.
We saw it happening in the power sector. It's not fait accompli.
It's not.
It's what he wants.
The next thing you will see is that he will bring property consultants in the name of concessionaires. That's what we have in the power sector.
No, the process is flawed.
They were just I went to Egbe power station. And do you know that the new owners of this company were more interested and are still more interested in getting ownership of the houses, the properties that the former workers are, than kickstarting the reforms.
That's what happened to Daily Times.
But whether you like it or not, those guys delivered in terms of they increased the generating capacity of Egbe, and they also built another sub plant beside it. And today, Egme delivers 2,200 megawatts.
But we cannot transmit.
It is higher than. It is not their fault.
No, I'm just saying. They've done their own.
That's what I'm saying.
If you have gas,
if we had gone
at
about
best,
it
they
the
will
proper
give
way,
you power.
we will generate and
No. See, no, that's
If we had done
overall. That's looking at overall. I'm talking about Egme.
That is-
Egme still
that is
gives
you.
you the best, the highest in your
I
country.
am
You've
looking at
taken
it
us,
from
you've
human-
taken us to
We are
power.
talking about
Yes,
aviation.
yes,
No, since he wants to talk about
Let's
it,
not
talk
airport.
about it. Egbe gives you 2,200 megawatts.
Can we talk about
Kainji
the
gives you
airport?
700.
Let's focus on the
Yes,
airports.
but go ahead, concession the airports, but take care of the workers.
No. The process.
That's my take. The process.
I'm more
must take
concerned.
care of
No.
the humans.
Aside from the process, I'm more concerned who is the main stakeholder sitting on this process.
Oh, good.
It should not be the Minister of
All
Aviation.
this will take care
It
of.
should not be
the
politicians.
Minister of
It should not be the
Aviation,
Minister of
not the ministry,
Aviation.
it's
Just one
It
minister.
should not be the Minister of Aviation.
Going around.
Politicians all over the world. Politicians don't manage aviation. All over the world, go check
Look at
it.
what
The
Ethiopia
Minister
is
of
doing with
Aviation does not
aviation.
sit
Money
on
spending.
aviation. It's the Civil Aviation Authority.
Ethiopia
that
has
Hold
turned
on,
aviation
let's
to
hold
their
on.
biggest money spinner.
Let him finish what he's saying.
So,
Make your point.
like I said, 2006 is still there. The act that set up and gave autonomy to the Civil Aviation Authority. If we are not going to visit that and allow the NCAA to sit on the aviation sector as a whole, and what that act that set up NCAA says also is technocrats that should run it.
Okay.
The
I think we have
Politicians have no
let me
Politicians
quickly take this call. I think we have a caller.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, thank you for joining the Hangout.
This is David from the United States of America.
Okay, David. I'll say good afternoon
hello,
to you.
Mr.
Maybe good morning.
Good morning here and good afternoon over there.
Where are you calling from in the US?
Florida, precisely.
Florida. Oh.
Sunshine State.
Yeah. Thank God that I put through today. I appreciate the guys on the studio, Mr. Jide.
I agree too.
I hear you and my two gentlemen over there. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
We like to tell you that the program is very informative, so please keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
And I appreciate you guys for the award recently given. You deserve it.
Thank you, sir.
And I pray that God will help you guys.
Amen.
I won't talk too much today, so next time I will call so that I could be part of the program.
Okay.
Thank
David
you guys.
just.
Keep it up. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for calling all the way from Florida, United States of America, David.
He was saying something.
Binga.
Politicians
Okay.
are our problem.
They are our problem in the aviation sector.
As mad as Mengistu was, he didn't get involved in Ethiopian Airlines. Today, if Boeing rolls out a new jetliner, Ethiopia will be one of the airlines asking for the highest number.
They compete with them.
And that's what they
Yes,
do.
now.
They have one of the best fleets.
They will be look. There is no big airliner that they do not have. That they do not have. Whether it's 777 or this,
Airbus.
they have
latest
everything.
generation.
It's a hub of
They have
aviation
everything. It is
the
a pride.
continent.
It is
Yes,
a-
Ethiopia.
That Ethiopia used
had
to
dictators.
do C-check in Nigeria here, in the Nigerian Airways hangar.
They
When
now
we
do it
get-
in their country.
When we get
C-check.
angry with our country, when we get angry about how things are done in our country, it is not because we hate the country. The C-check, Ethiopia used to do C-check in the Nigerian Airways hangar, where you now have Harik. That's why they used to do it. Today, Ethiopia is Africa's #1 airline, Africa's most profitable
aviation
airline,
hub.
and clearly one of the best in
World
the world.
leaders.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
profit,
Yes.
they made a profit in excess of $700 million.
Consistently. They've been
In 1 year.
profitable
Aviation
consistently.
is their national earner.
700 million in 1 year, more than 700 million profit.
Their airports
After
runs
tax.
24 hours.
Running after oil.
Okay.
The airports runs 24 hours.
pick
Fully
another
functional.
Even if we say, let's not even do things the
proper
right
way.
Thank
way.
you for joining us.
Proper way.
No, we're not ready.
Well,
Hello?
we better get ready.
Hello, Dari, let me pick
Why
this
not?
call. Dari, let me pick this call. Nelson is calling from Edo State.
Hello.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm Yati, calling from Edo State.
All right,
I want
go
to
ahead.
check out, and the other journalist.
Yes.
Thank you.
As for the concession, I think this concession of the airport is still going to end up as PACM. There is no two ways about it, because the politicians will always gather their people to do it the way they did it as the PACM issue. It's not going to be new to us. In fact, we Nigerians have already known everything. Even though they still publish it in the newspaper, we know the government we know the way they always lead us in this country. I still pray that they will disappoint us.
Thank you, David.
They won't.
Thank you,
They
David.
won't, so they're already on the
Finally, gentlemen, I was thinking that this government was going to be doing things differently. I'm so shocked at this revelation because
I don't know why you are shocked. Because you see, the thing is,
He's a patriot.
they will change a number of things, but they can't change everything about the way we are. Let's not be unnecessarily or overly optimistic. They will change a number of things. We can see that at least when it comes to the corruption fight, they are changing a lot of things. They are focusing on agriculture. They are changing things in that sector already. But they cannot, it's not everything that you expect them to be able to change. And that's why we know that this is a listening government. And that's why we are saying that process is not transparent. We can prove that it's not transparent. Therefore, the president should abort it. And let's see a transparent process that everybody will be able to say, yes, there was competitive bidding. The adverts were placed in the newspapers.
Larry, final shot.
Final shot is, don't forget the people. Whatever process, whatever intentions, no matter how good they are, if they fail to take care of the people, then I don't think it's what we need.
Insulator.
Maybe he has an uncle.
Yes, he has a family a
Well, airports are gateway to the world. They bind countries, they bind nations, and make the aviation sector runs efficiently and effectively. So if we have politicians sitting on the aviation sector, we will never get out of this mess that we're in. The Minister of Aviation or the Minister of Aviation should hands off running aviation and let the technocrats, the full independence and autonomy that is granted to the NCAA, let's see it come to life. And let the technocrats, the aviation technocrats, let them sit on this process and let legislation also back up what we are talking about. They have not seen any legislation on this issue of concession, and that is where you start from.
I want to thank you, Benga Onitilo, for coming on the show. Thank you, Dari Odufaokon and Babajide Kolabi Utitoju. That's where we draw the anchor on today's edition of Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode. You can watch a repeat of this very interesting episode 11 p.m. on DSTV 418, GoTV 45. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on YouTube. That's youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. See you next time. Bye for now.